Hello, good morning. We're reading the story. We're on page 47. We were with Moses, and God was calling Moses. He had been in the wilderness. I think he'd been there for 40 years. And Moses had told God no. And now he said, so he said, well, he's still sending Moses, but he's saying Aaron will be Moses' mouth. Okay, so page 47. The Lord, okay, so this is the last thing that the Lord said to Moses. He said, but take this staff in your hand so you can perform the signs with it. Now, the Lord said to Aaron, go into the wilderness to meet Moses. So he met Moses at the mountain of God and kissed him. Then Moses told Aaron everything the Lord had sent him to say, and also about all the signs he had commanded him to perform. Moses and Aaron brought together all the elders of the Israelites, and Aaron told them everything the Lord had said to Moses. He also performed the signs before the people, and they believed. I didn't read that before. So they believed after they saw the signs. And when they heard that the Lord was concerned about them and had seen their misery, they bowed down and worshipped. Unfortunately, things didn't go so well with Moses and Aaron's first audience with Pharaoh. The first audience means the first time they got to see Pharaoh and have a meeting with him. He not only refused their request to let the people of Israel hold a festival to the Lord in the wilderness, but he also made their slave labor even more difficult. So what do you think about, because Moses was afraid to go and ask Pharaoh, because Pharaoh is all powerful and can do pretty much anything. It says in there that Pharaoh was basically the god for the Egyptians. And so now they've asked him, and Moses and Aaron, and he's done exactly what Moses had been afraid of. So how do you think that has affected his faith? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't say here, but it's definitely a test for his faith, because he went and obeyed the Lord. Well, he didn't obey the Lord fully, because the Lord told him to go and speak to the Pharaoh, and he told him no. And then the Lord got angry. He sent Aaron with him. They go, and the exact thing that Moses had been afraid of is happening, is that Pharaoh is basically retaliating and against the Israelites.
What does retaliating mean?
Means returning evil for evil. Without reducing their production of bricks, the Israelites would have to find their own straw to mix with the clay. So now the Egyptians would not be giving them straw to make bricks with. They now had to find their own straw and still make the same amount. The Israelite overseers realized they were in trouble when they were told, you are not to reduce the number of bricks required of you for each day. When they left Pharaoh, they found Moses and Aaron waiting to meet them, and they said, may the Lord look on you and judge you. So now it's just not the Pharaoh who's against Moses and Aaron. Now it's Israelites and Pharaoh. You have made us obnoxious to Pharaoh and his officials, and have put a sword in their hand to kill us. Moses returned to the Lord and said, why, Lord? Why have you brought trouble on this people? Is this why you have sent me? Ever since I went to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he has brought trouble on this people, and you have not rescued your people at all. Then the Lord said to Moses, now you will see what I will do to Pharaoh. Because of my mighty hand, he will let them go. Because of my mighty hand, he will drive them out of this country. So Lord encourages. So Moses, things don't go well, and Moses turns back to God, and he said, basically, God, I mean, what is happening? You told me to go. I've gone, though I disobeyed a little. And now the Pharaoh is making things horrible. And so, which is what we should do. We should turn back to God. And the Lord encourages him. He said, now you will see what I will do. So let's see what happens. God also said to Moses, I am the Lord. I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob as God Almighty. So he's encouraging him to remember what he's already done. But by my name, the Lord, I did not make myself fully known to them. I also established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan. where they resided as foreigners. Moreover, I have heard the groaning of the Israelites, whom the Egyptians are enslaving, and I have remembered my covenant. Therefore say to the Israelites, I am the Lord. So he's telling Moses, say this to the Israelites, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from under the yoke of the Egyptians. I will free you from being slaves to them, and I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and with mighty acts of judgment.
Whoa, that takes courage to say.
Yes, he's going to have to go say that to the Israelites after the Israelites have already been more oppressed. I will take you as my own people, and I will be your God. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God, who brought you out from under the yoke of the Egyptians. And I will bring you to the land I swore with uplifted hand to give to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. I will give it to you as a possession. I am the Lord. So he's reminding him, this is who I am. He said it multiple times. I count just 3, just glancing down. He said it. Because he's reminding him who he is. Because it seems like Pharaoh is God, because of all of Pharaoh's power in Egypt. But God is reminding Moses who he is. He is God, not Pharaoh. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, when Pharaoh says to you...
You know that they worship cows in the Nile River?
I did not know that they worshipped cows in the Nile River. No.
And a couple of...
When Pharaoh says to you, perform a miracle, then say to Aaron, take your staff and throw it down before Pharaoh, and it will become a snake. So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and did just as the Lord commanded. Aaron threw his staff down in front of Pharaoh and his officials, and it became a snake. Pharaoh then summoned wise men and sorcerers, and the Egyptian magicians also did the same things by their secret arts. Each one threw down his staff, and it became a snake. But Aaron's staff swallowed up their staffs. Yet Pharaoh's heart became hard, and he would not listen to them, just as the Lord had said. All right, so we're on page 49. They had a little note here about the word redeem, because when the Lord was talking to Moses, he said, I will free you from being slaves to them, and I will redeem you. And here the note says redeem in this instance refers to rescue from captivity. It can also refer to the payment of a price required to release a guilty person from obligation, because Jesus redeemed us from sin. Here the Lord is redeeming them from Egypt. Caleb, remember we said, what does Egypt give us a picture of? Do you remember? Sin, but really the flesh, the sin that's in the flesh, and our slavery to the sin in the flesh, because the Israelites are what in Egypt? Slaves. And that's what we all realize. Suddenly you realize that you're a slave to this thing called sin, or you're a slave to this evil thing, and you need someone to rescue you, and they need God to rescue them. Okay, so we're on page 49. We're stopping there. We're at the top. We'll see you probably not tomorrow. I don't know. Bye.